"Don't stop," Eliana said, waving her hand over her soothreader. The light on the reader flicked from blue to green, and the colony gateway opened. Denton saw a Marine on the wall pointing out over the distance. The truck reached the end of the road and began hovering over the tall grass of the meadow beyond. The rain came down harder now, shrouding the field in darkness. They passed over a hill and saw the Henson, a bright spot of fire on an ocean of dark purple grass. "Oh, God," Eliana gasped. They drove the truck right up to the wreck and parked. Denton reached into the glove box and grabbed a collider pistol. Eliana nodded and said, "Good thinking. We don't know what brought it down." "I was worried about predators in the field," Denton said, "but now I have 2 worries." They left the truck and walked out into the rain. Eliana approached the Henson, thumbing her soothreader. "This is Eliana Veston. I'm on the scene. The Henson looks completely totaled. We'll need emergency evac for the entire beta team." Denton thought he heard someone inside the ship, but the sound of the roaring fire obscured it. Eliana finished her soothreader call and turned to Denton. "Help is coming. They'll be here soon," Eliana said. There was another shriek, and this time they heard it clearly. A woman was screaming from inside the wreck. They couldn't wait for backup. "So what's the protocol here?" Denton asked. "Follow me." Eliana approached the outer hull hatch and input a code. It opened limply, crunching metal against metal, and they could hear the woman screaming louder. "We're here to help," Eliana shouted. "Can you make it to us?" The woman continued screaming, but it was hard to find her in the smoke. Denton thought he heard a loud buzzing noise, but couldn't discern the source. He moved forward and pushed aside some heavy machinery that had fallen over during the crash, revealing an injured man under the mess. "I got someone here," Denton shouted. Eliana dashed over to him. "He's alive, but he's suffering from some sort of paralysis. Help me pull him out," she said, and they grabbed the man under both of his armpits to drag him out the door. Denton thought the buzzing sounds were growing louder as they pulled him free. They laid the injured man on his back outside of the wreck in the wet grass. Eliana got a better look at him and noticed that he was bruised from the debris that had fallen, but also had a deep puncture wound on his left shoulder. "What is this?" Eliana asked as she began to treat the wound. Another scream came from the interior of the ship. "I'm going back in!" Denton shouted as he rushed toward the Henson. "Wait!" Eliana shouted back, but it was too late. Denton had already made it back through the hatch. The injured man began to cough, and she switched her focus to aiding him. She reached for her medical supplies in her backpack and whispered, "Be careful in there, Denny." Denton flicked a switch on the side of his pistol, and a flashlight activated under the barrel. Another scream led him toward the source, where he found a woman trapped under heavy metal rods. A shape moved in the debris, something alien. Hulking over the mess was an insect-shaped creature, much like an old Earth wasp, but the size of a large hound dog. The wasp had 2 long arms, each with 2 fingers and a thumb. It had 4 insectoid legs that ended in knife-like blades, and an array of eyes that were glowing fiercely green in the dark, hazy room. Its wings emitted the buzzing sound Denton had heard before as it tried to push its way through the debris to get to the trapped woman. 3 large barbed stingers protruding from the wasp's tail were getting close to the woman's abdomen. The woman and wasp turned their attention to Denton when his flashlight lit up their area. "Don't let the Mectabolus wasp sting you," the woman shouted. "It paralyzes its victims." "Well, shit," was Denton's knee-jerk response. The wasp flicked its large body toward him. It moved erratically, buzzing forward in increments, followed by pauses. It reminded him of the unnatural way the Undreal ship had moved during that final fight on approach to the Telemachus. Denton aimed his pistol, but didn't fire. He was afraid that if he shot the wasp, he might hit the woman behind it. Thinking fast, he snatched up a metal pipe from the mangled debris to his left. The glowing green eyes rushed toward him. The buzzing escalated into a shriek as the wasp closed the distance.